Hi everyone, welcome to this YouTube channel. My name is Bagmaking, a 300 level student in physiotherapy. And behind the camera, I have my partner. His name is Abel Emmanuel. He's a 300 level medicine student of the University of Ilorin. Okay, so here we have our trainer for leather bag making. We're here to interview her, to ask her some questions, and to give you necessary information. So thank you for having us, ma'am. Can you briefly introduce yourself and the skill you teach?
My name is Olabisi Nikita. I'm the creative director of Lady, and yes, I'm a trained skilled instructor at the University of Ireland. I teach leather bag making to the students.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Can you also tell us the real world applications of leather bag making?
Leather bag making is just sustainable developmental exploration. So we make use of animal hides and plant-based products to manufacture leather, and then we use the leather to make bags. So instead of having animal hides, plants or orange trees or banana going to waste, we make use of them, we polish them into leather, and then we use them to make the bag. So in the real world sense, we're actually dealing with biodegradable waste in the world, and we're also dealing with making use of or reusing animal hides or animal skins.
So that's like another means of recycling. Thank you very much, ma'am. So why do you believe this skill is important for undergraduate students to learn?
I believe learning this skill is going to be a bridge between the industry and academics. There is the gap between industry and academia in Nigeria. If you're learning a lot of practical aspects in school, what are the practical skills that you can do and you can show to the real world that this is what I'm capable of contributing to the world, to the nation, to the community, to my world, to my planet. So learning a skill that has to do with something that is fostering the growth of the nation is very, very important for the graduates and something I'm advising students to pay attention to.
Thank you, ma'am. So our other question is, what are the basic requirements or the prerequisites needed to start learning this skill?
The prerequisites you need as a beginner for anybody is number one, watch. You need the normal instrument for sewing. You have your scissors, your ruler, and then you have the material, which are the leathers, the lining, and you need in production. So these are the basic things that is needed for finding things.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. I can see clearly from this master thesis that we have here that you are very proficient at what you do. So how long do you think it will take for a beginner to get to your level of proficiency?
When it comes to bag making, for beginners, we usually recommend 2 months of training. But the 2 months of training is from going from beginner level to intermediate. But if you want to go from intermediate to the advanced, you're going to need extra 2 months of learning, which is roughly 4 months of learning for bag making to become a skilled artisan in the skill.
Alright, thank you, ma'am. So what are the fundamental steps, the ABC steps in mastering this skill? What are the fundamental steps, that is the ABC, in learning this skill?
To learn the skill, you need to know how to pedal a machine. Meaning you have to be proficient in working with machines, mostly back-head machine. Then you have to know the crafting, how to pattern drafting and construction of each piece of fabric. So the ABC is just limiting just the sewing aspect and the cutting aspect. Those are the basic skills you need to work on.
Okay, ma'am. So what you're saying is that if I am a novice, take me as an example, I come to learn this skill, I need to know how to pedal a machine. Can this be taught here? Okay. Alright. Thank you, ma'am. Now, what are the materials, the tools, or the software that a beginner needs to learn?
The materials, the tools, you want to you need your scissors, your glue, you need the material itself, like the leathers you're going to use. Those are basic things. The things you're going to use in cutting and what you're going to use in sewing. If you have those two available, you can make at least a bag for yourself.
Alright. So there you have it. If you want to start this skill, these are the basic instruments that you need. At least you need to know how to pedal a machine. You can be taught here. You need your scissors and how to cut too. So moving on, man. Can this skill be learned fully online? Okay, if I say I don't want to go all through the trouble of coming here, can it be learned fully online, or does it require physical practice?
It's a 50-50 something. If you want to learn online, you need to have the theoretical knowledge of cutting and sewing. Because those two things cannot be taught online. So once you're someone that have the theoretical knowledge of sewing and cutting, you can learn any pattern, any design online. So meaning that a beginner that does not have any knowledge of sewing or cutting or anything that has to do with the fashion industry at all has has to be physically movement. You can order your clothes.
Interesting. What is the structure of your training program, the modules, the duration, how long it will take, and the milestones, maybe the way you create them?
The structure of my training is much about how creative is because here we work on creativity. You can be a badminton and if you're not creative, you find yourself being at low level than someone that has even been here for just a month. So I structure them based on your creativity. How can you think? Once you see your design, can you?
What common challenges just give us three challenges that beginners face while learning this skill?
Challenges beginners face is actually the same aspect for most beginners because learners have a different experience when it comes to sewing. So it tends to be hard on the machine. So you have to learn how to be more stronger on the machine you're working on. And then professional bag making is mostly creativity. I actually have to train some beginners on being creative before they can start applying the design. So creativity is one aspect.
How do you help your students to overcome this challenge?
As your mentor, I mentor every single step. And I work on their creativity because unless you want to be stagnant when it comes to fashion training, that is
So, what practical exercises or projects do you use to help your children?
Pattern drafting actually. Pattern drafting and crossbodies is where it's more like a modeling, an architectural aspect of bag making. When you build a bag without the leather, use papers, cardboard, to construct designs, to cut out shapes, to work on them. That will tell you whether you're capable of building that design or not.
Wow, that's very beautiful. So, how can students build a strong portfolio to reinforce their learning?
Working on their visibility, and also working on their creativity because I kept mentioning creativity. So the more you work on your skill as a creative maker, you actually keep having customers that love the products you're making. And once your visibility is okay, your media visibility or your physical visibility is okay, and people are seeing what you're making, they get intrigued, they get more interested to know what exactly how good the products are, and they buy from you.
Right, so there you have it. To build your portfolio, you need to work first on your creativity and then on your visibility. So moving on, what are the typical beginner level earning opportunities for this skill?
In what sense?
Maybe in how to make their first sale. How much do you think their first sale is going to make them?
How much their first sale is going to make them, or how much they will be needing to start off?
No. If they want to start earning, how much do you think they will, as a beginner, they just finish this skill?
That varies because when it comes to leather bag making, most beginners make the mistake of pricing underpricing their work. So, and there's no trust in overpricing your work when it comes to creativity because they're not just putting in the materials. It's not even about the materials they're using. It's more about the time you're putting in and then the level at which it stress your mental health. So I think that will determine what kind of product you're doing. So whatever product you be able to sell, it depends on how you price your time and your creativity. That means how you price your time and your creativity. So that question is dependent on those products.
Can you give us example of your students that have started making money?
I taught a girl earlier this year, that could be January, February, March. She was a skilled tailor, so she pretends to graphic designer. So within her first 2 months of learning the skill, she used my own machine personally to make her own sale. So seeing her selling out the bags, she made for a good job for myself. And right now she's there. She's making her sale. I taught her because I actually saw that she had interest in the skill. So she's one of those students that I took during my free, no payments, free learning.
does that once a year, where I train at least a student or two freely.
That's a very beautiful innovation. Thank you for that, man. So can you give us examples of, okay, what are the potential income ranges for students at beginner level, intermediate level, and advanced level?
As beginner level, and depending on what you're going to be selling, if just normal crossbodies, what you're going to be selling, and you're having roughly orders of like 20 orders per month, by the end of the year, you're most likely going to have like 35,000 income. If you are being financially conscious of how you're spending and spending. So at an intermediate level, you are going to have roughly around maybe 2 million to 3 million, depending on what you're selling. If you're selling a bag 20,000 to 5,000, and you have a sale of that particular design, you have like maybe 15 other units coming in. You should know how much that is going to earn. People at the advanced level, the top 1% skilled artisans that me and you roughly have from 500 million to over 1,000 million revenue, depending on the kind of brand. There are some brands now, they are the top 5 brands in Nigeria, like the Shadow. The Shadow will sell a bag, just a design as small as this 5.2 million. And if she's selling them, it's only on a limited edition, meaning she has only 10 of them available. And once it's on her website, it's sold out within 6 to 7 bags. So meaning that if she makes 50 pieces of her limited edition in a year, imagine how much she'll make from a bag that she's selling one, just 5.2 million. So that's what I mean when I say skilled artisan. I have a shoe maker that sells just one pair of loafers, 3.5 M. His name is Nelson, he's on TikTok. So those kind of people are like top 1% of the skilled artisans in the industry.
Thank you very much. So, ma'am, speaking of these earning ranges, how much do you think a dedicated student or GSC student like me can make within the first 3 months of learning? How much do you think a dedicated student, realistically, let's be realistic, how much do you think they can make from this skill in the first 3 months?
You said 50,000. That's what I said, depending on designs you're selling. If you're selling just tote bags, tote bags are quite cheap to sell. You can sell them 8,000, 12,000, 5,000. So that depends. That's the price based on the clothes. But if you're selling mini bags like 12,000, you're selling maxi bags like 15,000, 20,000. So within 50 to 100,000 in a month. That's what I'm saying, in a month.
Thank you very much. So now I've been talking about the earning, how much you can make for it, but now I want us to talk about the capital needed. What are the startup costs involving in monetizing this skill?
Startup cost, that's the low scale. It's most likely maybe, let's say 300,000 to start. Anything from 200 to 300,000. Meaning you're getting your machine, you're getting your tools, you're getting your material, you're getting your basic things you need in finishing your bag.
So what resources or what tools are absolutely essential for earning money with this skill?
The machine,
Okay.
the tool and mirrors.
So the machines,
The ruler.
ruler. What kind of ruler? Is it just the normal
Long,
ruler?
what is long architectural rulers?
King architectural rulers. Got it, thank you, ma'am. So can you break down the cost versus the revenue for a beginner starting up at their first project? Can you break down the cost, maybe how much is going to the capital, the breakdown, okay, maybe the machine is going to cost this much, the ruler is going to cost too much.
My trainee got a machine last week. We went to Gambari. We were finishing up with this. I've been here since October. So she had a 3-month training. So we got her machine 50,000. She'll be getting materials that will go roughly at least 50,000. Tools, so scissors, ruler, 10,000 we covered that. And then the few other basic amenities that we don't need is also in the range of 10,000 to 30,000. So that's what I was saying, at least 200,000 to 300,000.
That's beautiful. So how profitable is this skill in the Nigerian environment?
It is highly profitable because the creative skill, and one thing about creative skill means these are skills that you can praise your price on your product. It is not based on the national or international business. Even leaders will not control what is actually going to say. It's more about the time you're putting in and also how much you think is effort. Meaning your creativity is there. There are skilled bagmakings that online if you see someone selling the particular design 50,000 and that same design without any error was being sold by someone else in 10,000. So meaning there is a variation in their time
and their effort. When I mean by effort means their skills of business that you see that they are the one doing everything. Whereas there are brands that you see that they have teams, outsourcing, production teams. So whatever price they are putting on their product is going to fall into the factor of effort and creativity they are putting in.
So, what are the top industries or the sectors where this skill is highly demanded?
Fashion.
Fashion too. So,
Because a dress is not complete without a bag. Just like how a dress is not complete without a shoe. You can't go out without putting in a shoe. So most likely a bag is like an essential thing you need to put in everything without stressing yourself. So fashion industry is the one thing.
so what opportunities exist for students to freelance in this skill?
Several opportunities because you can decide to be a part-time director or a full-time director. It's just more about your time management skill. Because bag making can take literally half of your day, and if you're a fast skill student, you can make bag. You can make a bag within 4 to 5 hours per week. So it depends on how. So if you are freelancing, meaning you're going to manage your time between studying and making bag. And if you're going full time, meaning you're going full time into it. So there are opportunities in it.
So, are there opportunities for students to work remotely or internationally?
Yes, there are several opportunities.
So, you talked about visibility. How can students market themselves effectively after learning?
The first place our advice is to go out with your friends. Now promote your friends and your family, then from there you go from there. It is what they carry that they be like, who made this for you? Oh, my sister did. Oh, my friend did. Oh, so that's how you call good visibility. Good visibility among the people that are within you, then you go beyond that.
Alright, so what platforms are best for showcasing or for selling?
Social media.
Social media digital age. So is there a particular social media that has worked for you or that is in high demand now that works very well?
For creative skills, Bagmaking goes, Instagram goes a long way. Because Instagram is more about you building a permanent visibility, not short reels or fast reels. You're building something that has meaning. So if you notice, Instagram's reels video are more of things that have value than TikTok. So you can go into TikTok if you want to get audience views and comments and interaction. But you want sales that will be active. Instagram. Then you work on WhatsApp, because one thing about creative skill is community. At a point, you have a community of clients that they keep coming back. You create them, you allow them to be in a community of your best promoting people.
So thank you very much, ma. So what mistakes do students often make while trying to monetize their skill? What mistakes do students often make while trying to monetize their skill? Underpricing.
You try to fit your skills into the needs of your customer, not looking at whether it's going to be profitable for you or not. You want to sell, but at a detriment to your own value. So underpricing is a problem.
Okay, ma. Thank you, ma. We're almost done here. What advice would you give students who wants to move from small jobs to bigger projects?
Work on your creativity, because just like you said earlier when you asked me, your first question was, did you make this bag? So if the finishing was not good enough, you'll be like, this is obviously handmade bag. So what our advice is that the more your creativity becomes enhanced, the more you know that your finishing of your bag is more going to be pronounced. So customer will see your bags and they will not even believe whether you make it or not. So the more you work on your creativity, the more you find yourself working on your finishing, on how perfect the bag looks, and whether it is export worthy or not.
Thank you. So this bag making and leather stuff making, so is it future proof? Like, is it that it is something that will trend for a while and die down, or is it future proof that can continue?
Okay, I think that will take us back to what the ancient time has always been. The first thing that was used by men during the old age was what? Leather. They use leather for their sandals, they use leather for covering their body. Even till now, you see leather clothes. So this is something that has been since ancients, like thousands and thousands of BC ago, until this 21st century, we are still making it. If something has been existing for that long, are you telling me it's not going to have a continued demand? And one thing about leather skills is that there is never going to be a less demand on it. You will always need a bag, you will always need a backpack, a traveling bag, you always need a belt. There's no way. Guys that does not all these our training, our confirmed smart office men will want to put on a belt. If you're going to office as an office worker, you need a bag that can carry everything you want, and I get that from my customer. So this is something that is going to keep
being in demand, and hopefully Nigeria is being is given a particular statistics of by the time 2030 arrive, it's going to have like more than 30% of the revenue in Nigeria. Hopefully that goes a long way, because Nigeria happens to be one of the best manufacturers of leather. We just have lower industry, but we have abundant animals. Animals are in abundance. Every year in Nigeria, an animal is being killed. They will give out a part of it and turn to this. Now, having an industry that is going to keep recycling this, so meaning this thing is not going to be out of existence. It's going to be in existence every single time. From furniture to chairs to even the Okada that you're seeing around, that sits at the back of Okada is made of leather. So it's going to be independent.
So that's it. Leather can never go out of fashion. In fact, my bag is made of leather. His slippers are made of leather. Okay, so earlier on we talked about the ABCs, that is the basics for learning bag making. So what are the advanced XYZ that students need to know about this skill?
Industrialization. Industrialization means you're going away from being a local craftsman to a national, worldwide based craftsman. Meaning, whatever you are producing is going to be based on standard cutting machine, precision machine, sourcing teams. So industrialization is like the advanced stage. That's why you have mass production at lesser time. At this lower scale, you tend to have low production at lesser time because we have less machine, less skilled workmen, craftsmen, and less things for production. So the XY side of it is just more about the industrialization of it. Once this becomes more industrialized, then it becomes an advanced stage.
That's beautiful. Thank you, ma. So how long does it take to reach the advanced level? How long does it take to master this skill?
To master the skill
is to say I am probably an expert.
An expert. Roughly a year, because you're going to touch every aspect of leathers. So to be an expert in leather skill is actually beyond you making this. It's more about you learning about what you are using in making what you are using. So if you want to be an expert, you're going to go to a school of leather. You're going to school of fashion and industry. You're going to school of marketing to know how to market and scale and sell. You're going to school of top-notch finishing, meaning you're going to get yourself to China, learn about factories and industry. So if you do all that within a year, you find yourself coming to a stage where you know that, okay, I can say I'm a skilled expert.
Thank you, ma'am. So what additional courses or related skills can you advise your students to learn together with this?
Together with bag making, you can learn shoe making, you can learn belt making. And the only one that will be out of the industry is more about the indoor, that's the furniture. So if you want to go into interior decor and fashion, both at the same time, you can find yourself going into the furniture making, the use of leather for furniture, the use of leather for chairs and tables. But aside from that, for bag making, you can pair it with belts and shoe making.
So are there opportunities for students to start a business with this skill? So what would be the simple financial projection look like for a student running a small business with this skill? Just
a simple financial projection. I don't understand.
Like, okay, so a simple financial projection. Okay, maybe because as I'm still a student of the University of Ilorin, but I want to have this as my maybe side. Or you're not really going fully into the business.
It's more about you asking what is going to be like the total amount to be needed to start up the business. Is that what you mean?
Yes, ma'am.
It's literally just like what we said, having a roughly amount 200,000 and then listing out the basic machineries. That is it.
Okay, so but if I don't want to go into it full time, full skill, can I still manage without getting a machine?
If you don't want to go into it, you have to have people that produce for you, then you sell. So you just be more like a middleman that is buying and reselling.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier that the challenge is mainly on the pricing. So what is the financial, at least the minimum financial projection for someone who is an expert? Maybe let's take this bag for an example. What do you think the minimum pricing should be? How should they price?
How to price is, firstly, your materials is actually a very important aspect too. What a particular bag, you give it the statistics on how much it costs me to get material for just this particular bag. Everything from your transportation to what you're using to package, from your sewing to cutting to your workmanship, and after that to put in your profits. So your profit is not is dependent on how you value your time and your creativity. So that's going to be the definition of your profits.
Alright. Thank you, ma'am. So, how can students continuously improve and to stay updated in this field?
Just practice, consistent practice, and keep learning every day.
Keep learning every day. Alright, ma'am, we're almost done. What financial advice or what final advice would you give to undergraduate students learning this skill?
To keep learning. Just keep learning. How more you keep trying, the more you and then have passion for it. Because one thing about handmade work is that if you are doing something that has to do with you using your time on it and you don't have passion for it, at a point you get tired and you give up. So you have to have passion for it and actually
Yes, ma'am. So, what should students do immediately after completing the skill to start earning money?
trial and error. Like error and trial. Complete error and trial. Don't even think of yourself as I had a freedom, I'm good enough. No. Continuous error, trial and error, trial and error. Then you get perfect.
Alright, ma'am. So, for the final question, can you just maybe take an example and talk about this bag for us? Like, maybe how long it took to make?
This is my chala bag. I call it chala bag.
Chala bag.
Yes. Chala bag is like the perfect bag you need for making a statement. I'm going to an event or an outing, and you just want to carry something that is not too shouty or at the same time too demure. You just want to like make a statement. So you find yourself wanting to order one of my chala bag. Like, sorry please, I have an event and I just want the bag to sit uniquely beside me. So it depends on the color you're making. Pink is a bold color, telling you that you can't look away, just take on the bag. So this chala bag, it takes me roughly a day to make one. From the pattern drafting to the gumming, the cutting, the sewing and everything. It take a day. So depending on the size, the bigger the bag, the more time it takes. And this bag is made from crocodile skin leather. It's not as oil thin as this. This is a crocodile skin leather, an embossed one, but this is oil thin. Meaning that oil thin leather and this type of leather, they are type that they don't get peeled, no matter how much you scratch on it, unless you punch it with something that can damage the leather. So these leathers have a durability of 5 to 6 years without anything happening to it. I have several bags that I've been carrying for like 4, 5, 6 years and it looks exactly the way it has always been. So that's one thing about leather bag making. You get leathers that you can use for a very long time.
Well, I am falling in love with the chala bag already. Alright, so I've come to the end of our session. Thank you very much, ma, for your time. And we are actually challenged. We love your bags, we love your products, and we love the way you market yourself. Can you, maybe your social media handles, can you tell us your social media handles?
My social media handles is Univi, UNI, and we search it on IG or TikTok to come up.
Okay, thank you very much once again for having us, and thank you so much, our viewers. Once again, my name is Favor Igbayiloye. Doing this for my YouTube, for my content creation and YouTube blogging. Thank you so very much for your time. See you.